in their own way.
All right. So do you think it's beneficial in developing it further? Because over time things change, but it seems like I don't know. It kind of seems like a lot of people that play the music want it to be how it was.
Yeah, that's not quite right. I know what you're getting at, but that's not really accurate. And there's a few things to that. Number one, if you were to play, like, let's just take, because there's this insult that goes around that some guys, when they want to dismiss something older, they'll say, oh yeah, they're playing music from the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he get out of the 40s? That's like a newer thing that happens. I know cats say that, and I'm going to call BS on it right now. Here's the thing. If you were to play a tune from the 40s, if even in the same style today, it's not going to sound like the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's all this music we've heard since then. And all of that is going to influence what you're playing. That's why even when it comes to traditional music, if you listen to the recording from the 20s and a recording from the 1960s and a recording from today, they don't sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, okay, this is more recent. These musicians have heard newer things. And so things aren't going to be what it was. Even if you play the same style, it's going to be something else. And I think that's an element of the music that is often misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when my older brothers first came out, there were some people that I think that they weren't sure because there were these young guys and people hadn't heard of them. So some of them just said, oh, they're just playing music from the 60s. And that was just an easy way to write it off.
Right.
And I'm thinking, no, Wynton is actually writing his own music. That's not. Now they're covering some tunes from the 60s, yes, but no. Even with that band, there were other influences that they had from the 70s and the 60s and the 50s, and so then they were bringing it into the 80s.
Right.
So the thing is, it's not going to be how it was. It's not. I think that now. I think there are some things that I would prefer in terms of how things were, but the only thing that I would prefer, I think, is a knowledge of music. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of what music is played, that's up to you. And whatever it is that the musician wants to do, that's up to them. So, whatever elements that you want to bring into it, that's the thing. I think that I emphasize older things because there's a tendency to either take them for granted or to just ignore them altogether. And what I'm saying is you don't have to do that.
Right.
You can combine whatever elements you want, old and new. In fact, I'll even drop a name of an album for you that blew my mind. There was an album from a gentleman from the UK by the name of Soweto Kinch.
Sorry.
And he did an album called The New Emancipation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, and I'm not saying this because I know it, but I remember when I was first, because there was this period where I was kind of disappointed in some of the newer records being made, right? And so when I would hear some good albums, usually they would come from Europe. And I had this thing like, yeah, man, we're getting our ass kicked by people in Europe, man. They're making these better records. But the thing about his album was he actually was dealing with hip hop music.
Mm-hmm.
He was dealing with hip hop, but he was also dealing with R&B, but he was also dealing with older jazz influence. It was all coming together. So he would have tunes that would swing, tunes with funk group, tunes that were odd metered with rap over it. He was bringing all the to the point where after a while, I'm asking myself, why are we talking about Robert Glasper's Black Radio again? Why? Why? Because that was like the which I mean that's a good album. That's actually a good album, and that was something that was being talked about a lot, which it should have been. But I heard this record, and I said, "Whoa, this is serious.
Right.
This is So that's the thing. You can bring all those elements in, old and new.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So you don't have to sort of like. I'm saying what guys mostly do is they just throw the old elements out. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And you don't need to throw out new ones either.
Right.